So welcome everyone to this video. Today we are going to talk about data privacy and the future of marketing. And besides me, I have Gerhard, who is the CEO at 506. And with him, he joins Maciej. He's the CEO of Piwik PRO. And without further ado, I would like to ask Gerhard and Maciej to briefly introduce yourself to this and why you think data privacy and the future of marketing matters to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hans-Peter. And it's a pleasure to discuss with Maciej about data privacy and also the future of marketing, which is a major part of our company focus. Maybe only one or two words. We are a very young company with old people, I like to say sometimes. But our main issue is that we are concentrating on first-party data collection, managing, and activation, and all around online marketing consulting based on first-party data in Europe and GDPR, likely.
Perfect. Maciej, you're very well known as CEO at Piwik PRO. You've been around since, I guess, 2016. So please introduce yourself.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here today. So I'm the founder of the company and CEO. My background is pretty technical, so I hope to chime in on some of the technological aspects of what we are doing and what's happening in the marketing space. And in Piwik PRO, we provide a privacy compliant digital analytics and customer data platform.
Perfect. Sounds great. So let me jump in with the first question. And I would like to ask you both about the current situation and the future. So right now in online marketing, we see a big change coming and things have already changed in the past couple months. And what has to be addressed in order to make the future better is kind of the question that I would like to ask you both. Maciej, would you like to start on that topic, please?
Sure. So I think there are two forces that are on this market currently. So one is technological, so demise of third-party cookies, for example, but also introduction of various tracking prevention mechanisms by browser vendors. And then the second force is regulatory, where it goes about keeping data in Europe, preventing offshore data transfers to different jurisdictions, compliance with various privacy laws, the GDPR, of course, in Europe, but that's a global trend that similar laws are coming in force in other countries. And I think this is a general, on one hand, it's a threat to existing marketing technology solutions that relied on this mechanism and aren't going to be able to comply with them. And on the other hand, it's a window of opportunity for European players that were always, they didn't have that much funding. There weren't so many companies in the marketing technology space coming up. And now they have a really window of opportunity, both on the capital side, where capital is easily accessible even in European countries, as well as on this regulatory side to create really great marketing technology that relies on this first-party data.
Got it. So from what I hear, you see it more from the GDPR point of view. That's the biggest problem or issue right now?
I would say two, one is GDPR compliance, and two is this technological changes in the browsers where you cannot build the technology in the same way as you did 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gerhard, what's your point of view on the future of it?
Yeah, the one big block is mentioned by Maciej. The other big block is we have to live with a world which is, let me say, in the hand of very small numbers of tech or digital media companies. One of the last studies that we saw is only for the Austrian market. That right now it's not that huge market, but with 1.4 billion digital spendings, it's money there, and this money is split up only to, let me say, round about 13% to Austrian media or German or European media. That means more than 80% is spent to well-known two large American US players in the market. We cannot change this, but on the other hand, we see for our clients and also for other one, you cannot build up a competitive advantage only with, let me say, digital marketers in social or in other media. So you have to have a broader view on your data and also a complete other usage of them. And as Maciej mentioned, we have the regulations on that, and I also see it as a window of opportunity for European players, the so-called GDPR issue. And on the other hand, we also see a very much of our clients who are very interested in what's going on the browser wars and also on the technical issues. So you have to have a complete other view on data in the future for marketing.
Well, let's stay on this topic, and you've dropped already some numbers, Gerhard. So the online marketing landscape has already changed based on what you guys have told, and especially here in Europe, privacy matters, and it's more and more important. What do you think, Gerhard, will this lead to? Where's the trend going with third-party data?
Yeah, I think one major change is that in the past, mainly most of budget went into customer acquisition. As normal companies always try to find new customers. And I think one of the major reasons behind right now and in the future is when you think about first-party data, so the data that you can collect by yourself, like with Piwik PRO or other ones. This is the major reason that you have then a view about the value, the lifetime value of the customer, and not only the acquisition part alone, because the acquisition part alone, let me say, will get more and more expensive. That I do not mean the prices go up. I mean more or less the numbers, what you get from the money went down in the next couple of years. So you have to have a closer look to the customer lifetime value and not only to the customer acquisition part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for that. Maciej, since having the technical expert also on this call, I would be really interested from a technical point of view where you see the trend going and where it will lead us.
Mm-hmm. So Gerhard touched on a very interesting thing, like what's existing audience, so marketing towards your customers or visitors to the website that you already have, and this is this first-party data where you can do a lot of great things and use Piwik PRO and also other technologies for that. But the challenging part is the customer acquisition, where there will be no like third-party audience buying. Google tried to try to push a Flock, which already even isn't tested in Europe, and some browsers like Brave say like we won't enable it. So this won't work probably. And since there won't be a unified identifier across the whole like scope of like acquisition channels, it will be very hard. You will be buying very narrow audiences in the publishers or in different brands where they can build this audience, and not every publisher will be able to build a valuable audience because they may not have the data on this visitor. So they may start collecting more to create a mini first-party data ecosystem, but they will have actually harder time to compete with these two American players than even before, because they will have this data on the users they want, and their inventory will generate probably lower ROI because you will be using only contextual targeting, and that's a huge challenge. There is also one other trend on the technological side to make email or like hashed email a new identifier, but I don't think this will scale. I don't think publishers will require, like every publisher will require us to sign in with email. And there are already solutions like from Apple that you can generate like a random anonymized email, and you won't be recognized across other publishers. So I think we are like the whole paradox is this privacy laws actually in certain areas may make these two dominant players even more dominant than before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe only one question to you, because you mentioned it. Maybe you have also better information. My last information is that Google Vlogs is, let me say, on ice for Europe. And it's not in a beta phase. Do you know more about that? Is that really the case that Vlog is right now not in a beta usage for Europe because of data privacy issues?
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. Like Google decided to run the beta and exclude all European consumers from that because there isn't like the legal problem with that is they don't know who the data controller is for this data because it lives in the browser. And it's like, you are the data controller, or who is the data controller for that? And I think they won't be able to resolve that, or at least they didn't like resolve it so far. And that's why they decided to run the beta outside of Europe, and I think they had to pull the trigger on that because they are running out of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But one issue, sorry, one issue in that case is that with Vlog or the end of the third-party tracking from Google, everybody is scared and and is screaming around. And also in the German-speaking news, there was a lot of the end of marketing and so on. But you know, and we know that this is not a very surprising new issue, because when you take a look to Safari or Mozilla, it's like, I think 2019, 2020, they blocked that. What's your point of view about that?
I think it was even 2018, and we lived with couple end of the marketing, so that won't be the end of it. But yeah, there is a lot of uncertainty on the market because of that. There are some like there are really different opinions. Like some say like, okay, this third-party data really didn't bring that much result. It was just money for ad tech companies to earn more, and actually contextual brings similar results, at least for like large brands. But I think the problem is with audience targeting. Like if you have your audience and you want to run remarketing without mechanisms like Vlog and third-party cookies, like this will disappear. And there are companies that are just doing all the business around that, just about this one thing, so remarketing. So we'll see how it goes. Like I don't have the answers for that as well.
Well, we have touched the surface now for that, but you know what's beyond the third-party data, and what can we do as online marketer in the future? What do you think, Maciej, is the future without third-party data, and how will the industry look like next year or 5 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like if you haven't invested much into first-party data, that's like your last moment to do it to stay competitive. Like that's always like it was always the best. It was just underappreciated because it does not scale so well as third-party data. Like it scales only with the amount of visitors that you have or amount of customers that you have, but that's the highest quality, and you have to invest into technology to get the highest ROI of that. And even like salesperson will tell you that it's best to sell to people that are already clients. It's the easiest. And the same marketers have to understand that it's best to market to actually already clients and increase the revenue coming from that. But then comes the problem of acquisition. And that's, I think for the time being, we will be stuck with like some sort of mix of this first party ecosystems. And I predict there will be more like maybe big German publisher groups will come together. Like there were a couple attempts, but maybe this time it will push it to the successful one. There are some publishers that are doing already that in the US, like New York Times, for example. They have some first-party data ecosystem to buy advertising, And besides that, you are left with contextual and search, and that's like, you know, on one end. And if you are a big consumer brand, I think this won't change that much for you. The changes, like you already weren't seeing a lot of users from like Safari, Firefox, Internet Explorer, or Edge. Now it's Chrome, which is a big hit because like it's 50% of markets, in some countries more, but it's not something that that wasn't already a problem, an issue to some extent for you in the last 2 years.
Right. So, Gerhard, where do you see the future in online marketing based on third-party data or first-party data? Where do you see it going?
I can only add to Marcin the next sentence, because it's completely, from my point of view, is completely right. The problem that I sometimes see is that everybody, and since years, speaking about data-based marketing and AI and all other buzzwords. And the really crazy thing is, and when you ask them, or in our project, when you see the data, or we ask them exact CRM systems, they do not have any clue about their data. And when you ask them, where are, let me say, your web analytics or other data, I could speak emotionally, I think, 1 hour about that issue, but they will only drop one number. Everybody speaks about first-party data, database marketing, database businesses, and co. And the market leader in analytics is Google Analytics, and in every site who has an analytics suite in Google Analytics has around 84% market share. And as everybody know, Google Analytics is a great company with a great tool, but it's their data, not ours, and not that from the customers. So under normal circumstances, you do not have the ownership for everything else. So that's quite funny that a lot of people speak about data, but they do not have a clue about their first-party web data. And yes, of course, one part of marketing maybe will do not change very much, because when I will buy, let me say, such a fine energy drink from Austria, you do not have a long customer journey. It's only buy this stuff. But except this fast-moving consumer goods, every time when you have a so-called customer journey, when you have more than one paid media touch point, and then you buy it in the retail area, then it's extremely important to know what kind of interest, or what your maybe prospects are doing, and especially in that case, I think, as Maciej mentioned, I see a lot of publishers thinking about and working about and investing about, especially to build up such, let me say, audience or possibility. As you know, we have one client in common. With them, we are working extremely hard on their data and their email marketing and all that issues. I think there will coming something. Maybe there also are coming some ID solutions. We know that also in Germany and in other countries there are some initiatives. And on the other hand, we on our own have the next R&D project also on semantic search. That means to use semantic AI-based search to find out interests more or less a little bit better, to target better such audiences. It will be not easier, but it will be possible to do really good marketing for your product. And as Maciej mentioned, right now it's really the last time to think about your first-party data.
Well, that brings me to another question, Gerhard. Like Maciej just mentioned, this is like the final call to get your first-party data started and tracked. So how do you get around, and how do you get started to actually, collect and get the first-party data that you both have mentioned in the call? So what are the first steps a company has to do, and how do I get to collect first-party data?
Yeah, I think you have to start in the normal funnel and along the customer journey. As easy as that sounds, we have a lot of clients in consulting and co that do not have a real clue about what they will do in activation with paid media. They spend some paid media, they have some numbers on that area, like CPM or CPC, but they do not have any clue what with this huge amount of money all that visitors do on their website or on their shop or on, let me say, on other digital assets they have outside there. And so one of the important points is to have a clue about the digital customer circle, and especially then how you can measure the full customer lifetime and the full customer journey. And especially in the beginning of that funnel, when you spend a lot of money to bring them into your business or to a digital touch point, then you have to collect and start more, always with consent, GDPR conform. Then you have a better view about that. Most of the customers that they are starting right now to take a look about the full customer journey. Most of them are only looking on page impressions and money I spent on digital media, and you must have a clue about the full line, and for metrics and for analytics.
Right. So Maciej, I just quoted you on the final call, and I'm sure you have plenty of topics to talk about it. But how do you get started, and why do you think it's the final call now to collect first-party data?
Mm-hmm. So there are two things. Like there's technology and implementation, and as you know, Piwik PRO is a technology company. We offer our digital analytics and customer data platform. And we've made a big move this year and introduced the free offering so that every even small company can start using it for free. We are pretty open. We are not making money with your data like Google Analytics with advertising. We make money on customers that are our enterprise customer that go into the paid plans, but we want to reinvest this into offering a wide solution for Europe. And the second part that is very important is implementation. And I think that's something that I've seen many times, even like regardless whether it's Google Analytics or Piwik PRO and the other analytics product, that some companies just drop in the tag and okay, we have analytics. But that's not the point of that, as Gerhard said. You have to analyze this journey. You have to create some tracking plan. You want to get your answers from that and not just see like amount of pages, amount of sessions of the site. You want to measure how your different marketing channels work and how these customers interact with content and how they convert, and which channels work better, which you should maybe forfeit, and which you should invest in more. And that's why we also partnered with 506 for online marketing consulting services to offer like a complete offering, the Piwik PRO Core plan. You can start for free. You can join waiting list for that, or just reach out to Gerhard and his team. And the consulting part, which will get you the most out of this data and then implementation.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Maybe one sentence to add. I personally, I found that Piwik PRO extremely great because it's first time ever there's a complete free competition to, let me say, Google Analytics or other one. A complete, that's not normal. I think that's a huge invest from your side and your company. But I think that's a really bold and very great move. Sorry for interruption.
Thank you.
Great. So are there any final words, Gerhard, Maciej?
Yeah, I think it was great having this conversation, and hope that our listeners got some useful information, and you know where to find us. There will be links to this interview, and hopefully we can get started working together.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and also thank you very much, Maciej, and to the whole team from you. Also for the partnership, we are very proud that we have such a partner with an European, let me say, headquarter European technology from Europe for Europe, and all our team is also very proud to work with your product. And if there are any questions about Piwik PRO, the full analytics suite, or also the Piwik PRO core plan, which you will find the link to the waiting list after this video. As you, thank you very much, Maciej, and we are very, very pleased for the work together with you and your team for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and likewise.
Perfect. Well, thank you both for answering this question, and thank you for watching this video. I hope that we were able to answer some of your questions. As Maciej mentioned, we will be posting the links as well. And if you have any questions, please just get in contact with us. And we're looking forward to have another video like this, probably on a different topic in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.